life were remarkable. Yosef was born in Jamaica, came to Brooklyn when he was 12 years old, and dropped out of school when he was 15. A short time later, he moved to Philadelphia and became involved in the life of illicit street activities. In his early 20s, and after a close brush with death, Yosef relocated to Los Angeles and set his sights on the Hollywood music scene. He became a hip-hop promoter and producer and signed a lucrative album contract with Universal Bungalow Records. While nearing the height of his musical success, he became disillusioned with the emptiness of the Hollywood lifestyle. After a series of seemingly random events, Yosef came into contact with Judaism and decided to convert and embrace Yiddishkeit. He had been living in Brooklyn for 2 years as an Orthodox Jew, as the man we have all come to admire and respect. If you knew Yosef, if you really knew Yosef, you knew he wanted to impact the world. He was generous, kind, warm, loving, and extraordinarily passionate. Yosef felt a profound sense of mission, a tafkid in life that he was determined to achieve. I don't think he knew what that mission was at first, but I think over time it became clearer to him. These were the things that were closest to Yosef's heart. Firstly, Yosef wanted to demonstrate that a person can change, that you can change, regardless of who you were or what you did. He transformed himself, emotionally and spiritually, into the person he wanted to become. That's what makes him so unique. He was flawed, as all of us are flawed, but he tried to improve himself, and he succeeded day after day, refining his character, broadening his knowledge, polishing his speech, becoming a better human being. Yosef began speaking about his life experiences to demonstrate to others that it was never too late to turn your life around. He spoke at shuls, assisted living facilities, yeshiva high schools, learning programs, and he touched countless lives across the world. Yosef always established an immediate rapport with kids in trouble, kids who we refer to today as being at risk. He connected with kids who are in alcohol, drugs, runaways, kids who were lost and in pain. Yosef himself escaped the streets, the crime, the drugs, and fashioned himself into a man of character and compassion. And he wanted these kids to see themselves in him as he saw his former self in them. Yosef lived his life according to standards of moral integrity that few of us ever attain. His interaction with others was predicated on the values of truth, respect, and loyalty. Once when I came into the store, he told me he found an envelope with cash in it, and that there was no way of identifying the owner. Yosef said we should hold it and see if someone would come forward to claim it. He didn't have to tell me he found it in the first place. He didn't try to persuade me to split it with him by rationalizing that it was Hecker, legally ownerless. I said to him, maybe you should at least think about this before making a rash decision. But to Yosef, it wasn't an option. And what was the end result? A day or two later, an elderly non-Jewish customer asked if we found an envelope with cash. Yosef immediately handed him the money. The man was moved to tears, not because of the few $100s, which he was certainly happy to have recovered, but because he was touched by the goodness of others, by the selfless, giving, loving nature of another human being. And that was Yosef Robinson. It was a beautiful Kiddush Hashem, the sanctification of Hashem's name. But he didn't stop there. He carefully explained to our happily stunned customer that this is what Jews do, that it's a mitzvah, a valued deed, to return a lost object to its rightful owner. That man will forever see Jews in a special light. Yosef was not viewed as a guest in our home. He was a member of our household. He enhanced our Shabbos table with Torah thoughts, warmth, and, of course, spirited political debate. I trusted Yosef with my business implicitly, to the extent that people assumed we were partners. And in a meaningful way, we really were partners. For a period of months, we were collaborating on the book depicting Yosef's compelling life story. In fact, Yosef was so media savvy and attuned to promotional requirements that he would be upset with me if I did not insert a shameless plug here. Well, Yosef, this one's for you. Yosef cherished his service of Hashem. His Shemona Esrei, which is the silent, meditative portion of prayer, was long enough to rival the greatest Hasidic Rebbe or Holy Saint. If we had not yet davened Mariv, the evening service, and it was 10 or 11 o'clock at night and we were exhausted, he would still make certain that I would accompany him to shul to daven with a minyan, the ideal venue for prayer. He regularly learned Mishnah Berurah with Chavrusa, a classic Jewish law text with a study partner, and told me he would not allow himself to go to sleep for the night without engaging in diligent Torah study. Let me tell you a story. There's a shabbily dressed guy who regularly comes into the store asking for charity, particularly on Erev Shabbos, the Eid Sabbath. The first time he came in, Yosef and I each gave him $1. I was somewhat perplexed when he then proceeded to withdraw 4 quarters from his change pocket and asked to purchase a nib of Georgie vodka. Yosef and I discussed the matter, and his position was, if any person is desperate enough to beg for charity, I'll give it to him. I was of the opinion that monies for charity should go to the worthiest cause. Yosef countered with his firm belief that we had no right to judge others. He also pointed out the importance of not missing an opportunity to perform a mitzvah, as well as questioning whether that same dollar would really be spent on another charitable cause. We agreed it's probably better to err on the side of giving charity and making it your habitual custom. We were both also pleased with the fact that at least the guy didn't use the same dollar bill I gave him to buy the booze. Yosef and I both continued to give him tzedakah when he came in on Erev Shabbos. The moral of the story, being around Yosef made you think about your actions and made you a better person. One of the most admirable traits Yosef possessed was his ahavas Hashem, love of Hashem, and his absolute, rock-solid belief in Hashgacha Pratis, or divine providence. Yosef believed every moment of our lives and every event we experience is directed by a loving, protective Borei Olam, or Master of the Universe. As Yosef put it, Hashem is my guy and has my back. Yosef's Ahavas Hashem was such a constant in his thoughts and in his speech that if you would ask Yosef's cousin Shamar, who worked in the store on a part-time basis with us, how he was doing, he would answer Baruch Hashem without missing a beat. Yosef, we did not take you for granted. You were an inspiration and a mentor to us all. We love you, Yosef, and we will miss you dearly.